have long form content inside of your marketing strategy. In your entire strategy of where you're posting, how you're posting, all the things, long form content should be one thing that you're doing, whether that's creating videos here on YouTube, coming up with a podcast, having a blog. You need some form of long form content. Your long form content should also dictate and direct other places of content that you're going to be posting on, right? So for example, I could take this YouTube video and I can clip it and I can post a clip from this YouTube video directly on Instagram and directly on TikTok. Now, this doesn't always work because if I cut my sentence off or something else, it's going to tell the algorithm on the other platform that the video wasn't good, right? So for example, if I start a sentence, if I cut it at one sentence, but I don't finish my thought in that same content piece that is going on the other platform because it's all here on YouTube, then people are less likely to watch it and people are less likely to like it or comment or all the things, right? And so we do need to make sure that we're careful when it comes to repurposing our content, but your content can be repurposed, which will save you a significant amount of time. Also, people need long form content because it drives in SEO. So if you go on Google right now and you search how to turn my long form content into other pieces of content, guess what's going to happen? This YouTube video might show up. If I created a podcast on this, that podcast might show up. Why? Because it's SEO based. And then what happens? That is going to drive traffic directly to my website. So when it comes to coming up with content, you need a strategy that incorporates long form content for you to continue to grow and you to continue to scale. Before we dive deep into how we're going to repurpose and all of the things, I want you to do me two favors. I want you to like this video for me, please, and subscribe to the channel. When you subscribe to this channel, it tells YouTube that you love my content and it allows YouTube to share my content with more and more and more people, allowing other business owners to grow and learn and scale too instead of just you, right? Also, if you are like, who is this girl? I don't even know who she is. Why is she qualified to teach? Hi, my name is Sienna Kopishki, and I am a Christian sales coach. I teach Christian entrepreneurs how to scale their businesses to $20,000 months using my formulated system, PMVMS, which stands for prayer, mindset, visibility, marketing, and sales. I teach this inside of my signature program called Consecration Academy. Speaking of Consecration Academy, I have a quick spotlight on what Consecration Academy is coming up right now. Before we jump into today's video, I need to talk to the woman who feels like she is doing everything right in her business, but yet it kind of feels like God has gone silent. You keep creating the content, you're posting, you're praying, you're showing up, you're serving your audience, you're supporting everyone else. And internally, you are starting to wonder, when is it going to be my turn? When is God going to show up for me? When are the clients going to start rolling in? That is probably some of the questions that you have. You are tired of sowing seed after seed after seed and not seeing the harvest, not seeing the blossom, the fruits of your labor. You're tired of putting on a brave face for all your family members and friends about your business and pretending like everything is going well in your business. Pretending like, oh yeah, I'm hitting those high income months, or pretending like everything's fine even though you are barely seeing the income that you want to make. You love Jesus. You love the Lord with all of your heart, your might, and your soul. But honestly, you're feeling discouraged, disappointed, and you're starting to doubt your own capability. If that woman is you, I want you to know something. I created Consecration Academy just for you. Just for the woman who's wondering, when is it going to be her turn? When is it going to be your turn? That's who Consecration Academy is for. Consecration Academy is not a fluffy, feel-good program. This is a high-level, spirit-led program for the woman who's done pretending that everything is okay and is ready to actually step into the abundance that God has for her, the abundance that God has for her business. Inside of Consecration Academy, you are going to get access to 2 one-on-one calls every single month. These are 60-minute in-depth strategy sessions where me and you are going to really go through your entire business. It's where the Holy Spirit gets to meet us in in that place. And the three of us get to figure out how are we going to grow and scale and see success in your business. On top of your 2 monthly calls with me, you also are going to receive access to our community chat so you can cheer on other students in Consecration Academy and also be poured into. It's not enough to pour into everybody else, but you never get poured into. Now is the time for you to also be able to receive other people cheering you on and showing you that your business matters too. Inside of Consecration Academy, you're going to get every week, Monday, we do prayer calls. And so you'll be able to pray with other women who are on fire for Jesus, other women who are ready to see an impact in their business. And every Wednesday, you're going to get one of the following calls. We're either going to be doing a group coaching call on your visibility, on your marketing, on your sales, right? On your mindset, so you can show up in the best possible way. You get hands-on support in a group setting on Wednesdays, which is so incredibly awesome in case we didn't cover everything in our one-on-one sessions. On top of that, you get unlimited voice note access to me daily, so we can work on things outside of our group coaching calls and outside of our one-on-one calls. It's time for you to receive true support. You get access to a course inside of Consecration Academy, which takes you through all of the steps of prayer, mindset, visibility, marketing, and sales, which is the core foundational pillar of Consecration Academy. And last but not least, inside of Consecration Academy, you are going to get access to your own private tailored course, which is just for you and your business. This is where you're going to access your previously recorded one-on-one calls and every single piece of strategy that me and you have talked through either in DMs or on one-on-ones for you to continue to grow. So you have all of your notes, so you can just come to the call talking rather than taking notes and speaking with me. I want to make sure that you feel supported and loved on during our time together, because we are going to grow your business with the Holy Spirit to $20,000 months. The investment for Consecration Academy is $2,000 a month with extended payment plans as low as $250 a month. Because I never want money to be the reason that you delay what God is calling you to do. If you're ready to step into $20,000 months with the strategy, support, and Holy Spirit that you have been praying for, then I want you to go ahead and apply for Consecration Academy by clicking the link in the description below. You don't have to keep doing this alone. Now, let's dive into today's video. Now that you're back from the spotlight, let's go ahead and dive deep into long form content and converting it into short content, short form content, okay? So here's what I want from you. I want you to start thinking about different ways that you can incorporate long form content in your marketing strategy if you have not already. And if you are like, okay, but girl, I do have my long form content, then you're good to go. You don't even need to watch this video unless you want to know like how to structure it when it comes to like repurposing it for short form, which we're about to get into. But if you're just like, oh, okay, what are some long form ideas? Well, long form ideas, there's 3 big ones, okay? The 3 big ones are your YouTube channel is huge for long form content. That's going to be anything that is 10 minutes or more, or even these days 5 minutes or more, because TikTok has like an attention span of like 18 seconds or something crazy like that. So you want to have your long form video based content or speaking content or written content. So this could be a book if you have a book. For written content, this could be a blog if you have a blog. This could also be things like your podcast, your YouTube channel. Another long form content outside of these could be your traditional media. So that's going to be radio station, that's going to be television station, right? A lot of us aren't big enough yet that we have radio stations or television stations or radio shows or television shows. If you are, great. Keep it up. Do what you're doing over there. But if you're not, then stick to your YouTube shows, your podcasts, right? Blogging, whatever is the easiest for you. And then go from there. And I'm very Holy Spirit led. So instead of just making up which one of these makes sense for you, I want to encourage you actually instead to ask the Holy Spirit which one he would recommend for you, and really just sit with it and let the Holy Spirit guide you on this, and then move on to repurposing. So now that you've you've sat with the Holy Spirit, you understand that you need long form content in your business to grow and to really push exposure to your brand. Now it's time to talk about the short form content, the content that disappears within 24 hours, but that allows your audience to get a feel for your personality and builds that know, like, and trust rapport. Okay, so this is content that's going to be either on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, Lemonade, the list goes on these days. It just goes on. YouTube Shorts is a part of that, right? The content that performs for a little bit of time, but not a long time, right? Comparatively to YouTube videos. Like I watched a YouTube video the other day that was like 3 years old, right? And so like you have the ability to post both long form content and short form content in today's world. And so what we do with this is if you have video based content, right? Let's say you have a podcast. If you make a video based podcast, now you could turn that video based podcast into a YouTube clip. You can clip pieces of it. You can do TikToks. You can do Instagram Reels, right? You can post it on YouTube Shorts, so many different platforms. If you have written content, or even if you have a video content, you can take that video. There's lots of AI tools these days that transcribe that video, right? And they can write it out. You take that transcription, you write it into a blog. Make it make sense for a blog, though. Please don't leave it as a transcript, okay? You take it and you put it into transcript and you make it a blog. You take that blog and you make it into a post on Facebook, or you make it into a post on LinkedIn, right? And so these are ways that we can repurpose our content. The more we are repurposing our content is the more content that we have for other types of things, right? It's the more content that we easily have in our sphere. But if you're constantly just making 24-hour content and that's the only content you're ever putting out, then you're going to find yourself on a hamster wheel where you're constantly putting out and putting out and putting out and putting out content. And you're like, why am I doing this? What is going on? Why am I spinning around in circles, right? Because I don't want you to spin around in circles. I want you to understand how to scale and how to grow in a way that is strategic and that is going to give you a lot of your time back, right? And so that doesn't mean that you always need to do all of the things. You don't need to take your long form content and put it into all of the different places, right? You don't need to do that. If you want to do that, if you have the time to do that, great. If you have a software that schedules it out all over the place, awesome. But if it's just you, I just want you to think of one other place you could take your long form content into and put it into your repurposed content. So for example, I right now am primarily only on YouTube and TikTok. So some of my content may be repurposed onto TikTok. Now I do repurpose in a different way. I do not clip from my YouTube videos. I just take the theme of what I'm talking about and I make a shorter version and I post it on TikTok. That has been very beneficial for me rather than taking clips that may not even make sense when I convert it over to TikTok to making it for TikTok. I make content for TikTok based off of what I've talked about here. That is another form of repurposing that doesn't get talked about a lot. And I really think that it should, right? It's how can we make it fit that platform, because every platform does need its own content in order to succeed. So I really hope that this got your wheels turning and thinking about, okay, it's time for me to get strategic with my marketing. It's time for me to really put myself out there, right? Creating that long form content, taking that long form content and breaking that into short form content, right? And allowing the algorithm to pick up and spread your content where it needs to go. It's going to be so much more beneficial and you're going to make this, it's going to be so much easier for you and for your business. With that being said, go ahead and like this video if you didn't do it in the beginning and subscribe to this channel. And also, if you're interested in following me on TikTok, here's a link for my TikTok handle. I would love to see you over there. And friends, I will see you in the next video. Bye.